Hello, friends. Have you been performing your whole life, chasing ways to fix yourself, proving that you're enough? Well, here's the truth. You're not broken, and you never were. I'm Anthony Johnson, and this is Living Your Spirit, the podcast for people ready to stop becoming and start being. Hello, friends. This is a follow-up to Freedom Friday number 3, Living Inside Out. And this is Finding Freedom, Living Inside Out. This is episode 144, and this is Anthony for Living Your Spirit. So if you've listened to Freedom Friday number 3, you realize that the freedom comes from turning your internal state into the state of mind that you want to live your life more freely, more satisfying, more fulfilling. So how does that lead to freedom? That leads to freedom because when you start changing how you think and feel internally, you start to change how things appear in your life externally. And that, of course, leads to freedom. So I'll give you some specific examples. Freedom in, let's say, financial changes. So freedom in a car payment being what you want for the car you want. My example is Mercedes GLC 300, refusing to pay over $500 a month. Changing my internal state, my mindset, my thinking, my feeling, my knowing that that specific car is available to me for that specific price, and then feeling myself driving it, seeing myself driving it, having my friends in it, listening to the radio. That's all part of visualization, right? But that starts with your internal feeling. And then you have your thinking. Both of those things change what happens on the outside. So after about 3 months and a few phone calls back and forth and some negotiation, the car arrived. I got the car that I wanted for the price that I wanted. But that was because for those 3 months, I was thinking and feeling that I already had it. It's already mine. I'm already driving it. I'm already enjoying it. Money in the bank, finances, enough money to pay bills, enough money to buy a home or travel. If you look at your bank account every day and you think there's not enough money and you feel bad, you're probably never going to have enough money. If you don't look at your bank account and you imagine that you have plenty of money and you see a really high bank balance, maybe it's 20,000, maybe it's 100,000, and you feel that and you think that, that eventually turns into more money in the bank in your reality. And most people will say, well, how does that happen? Are you telling us that it's magic? No, it's not magic. It is living inside out. It's starting to understand how thinking and feeling changes your reality. Think and feel negative. See negative things turn up in your reality. Think bad things about your husband or wife or your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend and see how they act, react, and behave. It's probably not going to be pleasant. Think loving thoughts. Think about kindness, caring, compassion. See love. See yourself intimately, romantically, and more than likely, your relationships will turn out much better. Another example. I have no idea what I did to get my credit card up to $10,000. I have no idea. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but I certainly would never expect that it was $10,000. But it was going out to dinner, buying drinks, traveling, getting little things on Amazon, free delivery every night at midnight. Who knows? It just added up. And I logged in one day and I thought, how is this even possible? And I looked at the statement and I thought, okay, I remember buying every single one of these items. I remember going out to dinner and I remember buying drinks and I remember taking Uber into the city and I remember paying the cover charge to get into a club and I remember getting room service at a hotel. Anyway, the balance on the credit card was way above what I wanted it to be, way above what I wanted to pay off. So I simply kept saying, oh, my balance is zero. My card is paid off. And then I saw the statement in my mind as having a zero balance. So what happens? My state of mind changes. My actions, reactions, and behaviors change. So even though I don't consciously think, oh, when I get paid or when I get a little extra money, I better throw it on that credit card, I find myself looking at my checking account and saying, I don't know, there seems like there's an extra $200. I'll just send it to the card. I don't know, it seems like there's $1,000. I'll just send it to the credit card. Maybe it's $50. Maybe it's $500. Whatever it is, I just send it. And it doesn't make me feel like I'm in a position where I can't do it, I'm forced to do it, or I'm putting myself out in any way. It feels comfortable. It feels doable. It feels achievable. And I do that every time. And I never look at the statement. I never even think about it. I just pay the money that I have when I have the money. When I looked at the bank or the statement, I think it was maybe 6 months later, it had a balance of zero. It might have been, I don't know, something like $10 or $20 that I owed. I have no idea what I did exactly. Like, I can't go and say, well, it's because I paid 500 here and 1,000 here. I just paid it and it got to the point where it was exactly where I wanted it to be. And it doesn't matter how many people believe me. I believe me because I know that it happened. That's the shift that we make in our lives that give us the freedom. We're living inside. We're living an internal thinking and feeling process that puts us in a better position to have a more satisfying and fulfilling life. Instead of thinking the worst of our job, our friends, our relationships, and the world, including ourselves, we start to shift and think in a loving manner. What would I do for myself if I really loved myself and wanted to give myself whatever I wanted? What would I do if I loved my boss? What would I do if I really loved my children? How would I see them? How would I think about them? What would I do for them? What would I say to them? And then on the flip side of that, what would I hear? What would I see? What would I witness? What would my boss be saying to me? What would my husband or my wife or my girlfriend or my boyfriend be saying to me? How much they love me? How much they care about me? Would they be giving me gifts? Would they be giving me massages? Would we have wonderful dinners? Would we go on trips? Hello, friends. If you would like to live your spirit with instant emotional clarity, visit CoachAJ.com and fill out the form that pops up for the 5-day transformation. Okay, boys and girls, think about how you think about everything in your life every day. And of course, if you watch the news and you watch things in the media that tell you the economy sucks, there are no jobs, interest rates are going up, bank rates are going down, banks are collapsing, there's a war going on, people are dying, tariffs are going up, planes are crashing, there are long lines at airports, there are travel restrictions, people are dying from medications, there's a new disease. The list goes on and on. So if you're spending most of your time or a significant amount of your time looking at stuff like that, listening to stuff like that, how do you think you're going to feel? Do you think you're going to feel like the world is great? I'm excited. Or do you feel like you're going to think, oh, great, I'm going to lose my job. My spouse is going to leave me. We're going to lose our home. We're not going to be able to go on vacation. I don't have enough money in the bank. Do you see how all the things that they feed us make us feel like life is just a pile of crap? And then we get afraid, right? We're afraid we don't have enough money. We're afraid our relationship's going to end. We're afraid we're going to catch this ridiculous disease or illness and we got to take this shot, or we got to wear this mask, or we're afraid there's going to be a war and the whole planet's going to be wiped out. So when you live in fear, what do you want to do to get out of the fear? You want someone to come along and save you. And who is that? Who is this mystery person or entity that's going to save you from all your fears? There isn't anyone. There isn't anything except you. You are going to have to save yourself by living and thinking and feeling in a manner that projects you forward, that brings you the things that you want in life, and that takes you out of fear. It removes the fear because you know that your mind, your mindset, your awareness, your consciousness is powerful enough to change things. And if you look back at your life, you can probably realize, like I said in a previous episode, how you think affects how your life turns out. I left an analogy of when the alarm goes off, you get up late and then you're pissed off. Instead of being like, oh, I'm late, that means I'll have a shorter workday. So you're pissed off. And then what happens? The coffee maker doesn't work. The shower doesn't have hot water. The car doesn't start. Every traffic light is red. There's traffic on the freeway. Do you ever notice days like that? You get to the point where you just scream out some 4-letter word and you're like, give me a break. In reality, give yourself a break. Stop thinking, oh shit, I'm late. My day is ruined. Because that pretty much ensures that your day is ruined. One of the things that I notice is people will say, I'm dead. That's a big comment that I see lately on like Insta, TikTok, they think it's funny. It's so funny that I'm dead. They have no clue what that type of talk is actually doing. They have no idea. They have no clue. And it's all fun and games. A big one for me was having a pain, maybe a pain in my shoulder, a pain in my back, a pain in my neck. And every time I had something like that, thinking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And what do you think I got? something being wrong. Something was wrong. And each time I said that, it just reinforced it. And then I would get another pain. And then I would feel more crappy. And then I would wonder what's going on. And I would think, oh, something's wrong. Well, now something really must be wrong because now I have a second pain. It was only when I realized it's preposterous for me to say something is wrong. So I started thinking and saying everything's perfect. And I understand the people that listen to stuff like this. It's basically all over the internet. It's all over YouTube and Insta and TikTok and you name it. People are talking about awareness, mindset, manifestation, law of attraction. And there are so many people that get into it and think, yeah. But they get into it for the wrong reasons. For the most part, they just think, I want a ton of money. I want a beautiful home. I want my husband or my dream girl or whatever it is. And yes, that can be a part of it. But the most important part of it is clearing out your mind, feeling good, feeling satisfied, feeling fulfilled, and living a life that brings you joy and happiness. When you live a life that brings you joy and happiness, you tend to get things in your life that bring you more joy and more happiness. So that's another home, another car, another boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse or money to travel. So it's still inside first and then out, an inside out reality. But the freedom comes from cutting yourself away from all the doom and gloom that you see in the media, that you hear in the media, that you read in the news. I get news all the time that says this is happening. And the more I scroll past it and don't look at it, don't spend time on it, don't click on it, the more I get other things in my algorithm that make me feel like I really want to read them. I really want to know about them. Things like how to improve your finances, new things that are happening with science or medicine, or improvements to improve your health without putting more drugs into your body. Maybe it's an exercise. Maybe it's a natural supplement or a plant. So that brings us onto another topic, the medical industry. It doesn't really fix you. It kind of just keeps you a little bit sick and on a few drugs so that you don't really get well. You just continuously use the system. I don't feel great, so I still need this drug. But there's not really anything that tells you, here's what's really going on, here's what you can do to fix it, and here's what you can do to get off of the drug. So my mom, she's quite a few years older. She's in her 90s. She goes to the doctor. They always give her a drug. They always tell her something has changed. And I say to her, Mom, what did they say is the cause? The latest thing is pressure in her eyes. They said the pressure has increased. So I said, okay, Mom, what's causing the pressure to increase? And she says, well, they didn't tell me that. They just told me that I needed a new kind of eye drop. That's very frustrating for someone like me that believes there's something causing the pressure in her eyes. There could be potentially something for her to do, either physically or changing her diet or her environment or something, without needing another drug to put into her body, without needing different eye drops or more eye drops, 2 sets of eye drops twice per day, versus, well, ma'am, if you stop eating this or stop doing this, or maybe start eating this or start doing this, There's potential for the pressure in your eyes to be relieved without these drugs or these eye drops. But that's not what they do. That's not what they tell you. And for someone that's my mom's age, she doesn't really know, oh, I need to go in there and ask 20 questions and kind of figure things out on my own and see if there's something that I can do. She's older and she believes in doctors and she believes in the medical industry and she believes in drugs helping, but also being needed after you reach a certain age. So that brings us back to living inside out. If you're inside tape or record player, if you're a little bit older, actually, I think they have record players now. So, hey, yay for record players in 2026. But if the thing that you keep thinking and feeling is, when I get older, I'm going to need drugs. When I get older, I'm not going to be able to do this. Oh, this is something that comes with age. Then you're kind of putting yourself in a really bad position. And you're probably going to see those things show up in your life. If you changed how you thought and felt inside and had something like, I'm always going to be young, I'm always going to be active, I'm free from medication, then you probably will see changes in your life going forward. So Freedom Friday, number 3, go check that out. And when you think about freedom and success and living a life that's inside out and a life that's truly living your spirit, you're not afraid. You're not living in fear that I'm going to lose my job one day and I'm never going to find another one. You're not thinking interest rates and home prices are so high, I'm never going to be able to buy a home. You're not thinking, when I get out of college, I'm not going to find a job. I'm not going to be able to pay off my student loans. I'm not going to find the partner or the spouse that I want. I'm never going to lose this weight. I'm never going to be in shape. This is so difficult. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm never going to see success. Just think about those things. And if you're thinking that way, then it's time to start changing it and not only thinking different, but feeling different. Feel the joy, feel the happiness of what it's like to have the things in your life that you really want. Don't just say them. Don't just sit there and think that saying, I'm in great shape, is going to magically change you overnight. And the next day you're going to wake up and you're going to be in shape. That's not how it works. When you change your mindset and you change what you think and you change what you feel, the subconscious mind automatically moves you in the direction of doing things that bring you the thing that you are thinking and feeling. So you start eating less. You start moving a little bit more. Maybe you go to the gym. Maybe you take a walk at lunchtime. Maybe you get a salad instead of a burger and fries. Whatever it is, it kind of just subtly happens. You just notice you're doing something and you don't really give it much thought. And then time goes by and you look in the mirror or you get on the scale or you try on some clothes and suddenly they fit, or the scale is lower, or you look better in the mirror and you think, oh, wow, I don't even remember doing anything. And my podcast, my episodes, my posts, whether they're in a podcast format or anywhere else on social, they're for the people that understand this. They're for the people that believe it. They're for the people that want to try it, that are tired of living the way they've been living. And for everyone else, hey, it's not for you. The reason I post it is because I believe in freedom. I've experienced freedom by changing. And I think that so many other people in the world want to experience freedom, need to experience freedom, and just don't know quite how to do it, when to do it, how to go about it, what to think and feel. And I just want to get the word out. And it's really simple. Changing the way you think and feel will change your reality, will change your outcomes. When you change on the inside, you will see things change on the outside. So that is this episode on Living Inside Out, finding freedom and success in 2026, and a follow-up to Freedom Friday number 3. If you have questions, please go to the show notes and send me a text via fan mail. I will answer your question on an upcoming episode. And if you would like to tell your story as a guest, please do the same thing. Send me a text and I will put you on the list to be a guest. Thanks for listening. I'll talk with you in the next episode. Hello, friends. Thank you for listening. Do you have a question about something you heard in the show? Or do you have your own personal story that you would like to share? Please click on Fan Mail and send a text message, which is located in the show notes. Or call 1-609-310-1777 and leave a voicemail. I will be sure to feature your question on an upcoming episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.